Thank you everyone for being here. So we were talking earlier about the importance of being surrounded by people who can actually level us up. And this is mainly what this conversation is about. So Dandelion Blast is the hipster name I give to community building. So dandelions are this, I call it dandelion, but I think it's dandelion. So just forgive me for that. I like calling it dandelion. Is this plant that they spread all around. They are flying seeds that they fly all around and spread. They are actually considered a bad herb that in your garden they spread all around without you asking for them to grow. People usually take the roots out, but the point of the dandelion is like, this is a beautiful flower that actually spreads all around by flying with the seeds. Community building is about core and movement, and I'm going to talk about how to use community building actually to grow your team and your business by applying it to sales. So I'm going to get just two of you to explain, because I see that this is not a term we are familiar with. When I talk about growth hacking, marketing, or sales, everyone knows what it's about, but no one really knows what community building is about. But first we're going to talk about, how do I do it? I'll need you guys to press it for me. Why community building? Next one. Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to tell you guys my story. So community building for me is lots about serendipity. The definitions of serendipity is finding something you were not looking for, but that's something amazing. That's something you like a lot. So basically my story is like, next slide. I'm from this amazing town, big town in Brazil. You can see this is the avenue. The avenue doesn't need a name because it's the avenue. Who is from a small town in here? No one? You? So people who are born in KL or in big cities like New York, you might not know what I'm talking about, but this doesn't need to be like Jalan Marof or Old Klang Valley Road or whatever. This is just the avenue. You see a person crossing the street in a hurry because no cars are going to just pass by, and here you have the ice cream store, which is the only in the city. The point I'm making here is I moved out of this city intuitively by the feeling that I needed to find something else. I needed to find opportunities. I needed to live in a city where things were happening. Eventually in life, I started studying law, and in the big town I moved to, and I found this organization called ISAC. Who has heard of ISAC here? Okay, lots of people from ISAC. And at first, it took me a year to understand what the hell ISAC did. I didn't understand what are you guys doing, and people in ISAC basically they tried to fire me. A year after I was there hanging around and going to the parties and to the conference, they didn't know what I was gonna do. They tried to fire me, and I said, no, you won't fire me, I'm gonna work just because if I quit, it's because I want to quit. So it was very stupid, and I started working, and I got engaged with ISAC to the point where I became eventually the country director for a region, because ISAC is divided by countries. I became the country director actually for a region that comprises Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay. So I was the president of the 3 countries for a year, and I also managed talent management, and I was part also of the global steering team who manages the global strategy of ISAC. And there, the main learning I got was how to build organizations that are network driven, not management driven. How to make people take action without the boss saying take action, but by their own will. How can I make you do something without me controlling you, by you wanting to do it? Serendipity. I didn't ever think about these concepts when I was born. Then I joined this accelerator and accidentally fell into something called Startup Grind, which I'm going to talk about later. And in this accelerator, where basically they were hosting, I saw 75 technology companies being built from the scratch, some getting sold, some getting acquired, some getting revenues. And I was having actually an awesome life in Buenos Aires, Argentina, after I quit ISAC, joined Accelerator, but I felt this urge for moving again, for getting out of the comfort zone I was at. And this is actually more into a personal thing, but I also have this feeling that whenever my life starts being guided towards protecting what I have to move. So although my life in here was really good, it was so good that I was feeling stuck by trying to protect the perfect life I had, that I said, explode everything and move out because you're getting stuck. So I found this Malaysian company called Mind Valley. Who heard of Mind Valley here? And I came to Mind Valley. I moved to Malaysia. My visa took 8 months to get approved because in between this story, I never finished school. I'm a dropout, never finished law. Took me 8 months to get my visa. I arrived here. I started startup grind. And 2 months after I arrived to this company where I wanted so much to work at, I decided to quit. So I quit Mind Valley. And next slide. And I started startup grind KL. I started actually doing my time at Mind Valley, and I found out that when I was about to start, people told me like, don't start another community. We have so many tech events, so many startup events, so many meetups in KL. Why are you going to start another one? You're going to compete with us. Even Mind Valley didn't want to support me. They were like, you're not going to do this event here because we have other events already. I said, okay, I'm going to find a venue. Serendipity, I met this guy who said, I'm going to be the first speaker. I knew 2 people in Asia when I got here. One of the people I knew, introduced me to this guy called Kylie. Who knows Kylie? Kylie is one of the main entrepreneurs we have in Malaysia. Kylie accepted to become the first speaker, weirdly, and offered his space to host the first event. By being forced to do it out of Mind Valley, I actually found the opportunity in how huge is the ecosystem in KL that needs to be built. And I had events. Kylie eventually introduced me to Patrick Grove, which is like one of the 4 biggest companies, not in Malaysia, in Southeast freaking Asia. This guy's like a billionaire, Kacha Group, iProperty, everything in Sion. So I very quickly started getting connected and started Grind KL now has over 1,500 people, physical people who actually subscribe to our events. Community building is slow. Usually after 7 months, we would have 700 to 800 people. We have 1,500. And why did it work so well? I swear it's not my fault. It was not really calculated. It was pure serendipity. But mainly, next slide, core and movement. Community building is first about a very freaking strong core, and at the same time, release control. Let serendipity happen. Let everything you got be lost if it's about it to be lost. So it's about letting go, but at the same time having a strong essence. Essence, core, is essentially vision. So what is your vision? So as a community leader, your purpose will resonate with your crowd, and they will start doing things that they feel like they connected you because of your why. So the first exercise I actually want you guys to do, and then I'm going to share my personal one, is what is your strong why? So let's talk a little bit about it. So I'm going to give an example. Let's say you talk to someone who says, I want to have a red Ferrari. Why do you want a red Ferrari? Oh, because it's freaking cool and all the girls want to hang out with me. But why do you want all the girls to hang out with me? Just because girls are cute and I want it. But why? Because I want to feel good. Why do I want to feel good? Because I just want to feel loved. Okay, why do you want to feel loved? Because I'm lonely. I don't want to be lonely. Why don't you want to be lonely? Because love is important. And then you get to the core that you don't need a Ferrari, you just need to be loved. And the love is not going to come with a Ferrari. There are other ways you can reach this ultimate value for you, which is friendship, relationships, love. So the core needs we have in life are usually regarding growth, contribution, and connection. This is also said by Vishen Akiani, who's the founder of Mind Valley. So the core things in life are usually not the things we're aiming for. So very quickly, I want you guys to pair in 2, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes because this is one of the most important things. So make sure you have a pair and there is no one like lonely. Make sure you have someone by your side, and you're going to share what is your purpose in life. Okay, let's move to the next part. Thank you very much. So let's talk about value. We were talking about value, so that's very nice that you just mentioned that, because why? Our purpose is strongly connected to our values. So why we find something important is connected to how we value something. And from a very simple perspective, like if I value connections, I'm not going to make a decision that compromises connections. But sometimes we make decisions in life or choices that are against our values. So it really starts by you understanding your why, and then understanding like innerly how you think. So values impact decisions, and decisions impact actions. What happens with many companies is when they have, these beautiful posters with values like integrity, honesty, yes, collaboration, and then everyone is like competing and trying to step on each other, and like everyone is sharing and side talking about how the boss is an ass. Sorry for that in the video. But if the value does not come from the founder innerly, if you're not aligned with the values you create to your community or your company from the beginning, it's going to be screwed up. And your actions are results of your values. So before trying to control your actions, understand what your values are. So next, your actions define the culture you build, and the actions are defined by values. So the values are the thing that moves you. And a hint is what moves you are emotions. So a good way to understanding values is when you have an emotion involved by it. So, for example, the word emotion itself, I don't know if I believe in that definition, but I'm going to say it anyways. They say that emotion is like energy in movement. So emotion is actually what is a drive, what drives us to do something. So, next slide. I'm going to give examples on, I work for this company called Startup Grind, which is a global community of entrepreneurs. So the values of Startup Grind are help each other, give, never give up, and make friends. And I strongly connect to that, and from the moment I saw it, I said, yes, I connect to it. But even in the moment I was doing this presentation, I was saying like, why do I connect to this value? And I came to the point where I understood that on the value of helping each other and on the value of helping each other and giving. I'm going to tell you a story. The other day I was in the taxi stand at Bangsar Villa 2, and a pregnant lady arrived, like 8 months pregnant. And I said, you can go ahead in the line, you can take a taxi in front of me. Immediately, 3 guys arrived, and they cut the line, they went to the front and grabbed the taxi that was coming to the taxi stand in the street, not allowing me nor the pregnant lady to take the taxi first. Have you guys watched Kill Bill? I swear to you that I had my Hattori Hanzo cutting their heads. I had to work on that. Anger is not a good emotion. But it gets me angry when I see someone, I grind my teeth, I see the emotions of someone who's not being collaborative, I want to kill them. It's not good. I'm sorry, this is not good, I'm not going to kill anyone, I'm going to do the other way, I'm building communities, right? So, then, another point of view, I get teary-eyed when I listen to someone's story, like, this single mom who was abandoned, and then she raised her kid, and then her kid became like a professor, and now they are living happy, and they're impacting other people's lives and educating. I get, oh my God, I get totally like emotional about it, and my heart gets beating fast, and I don't know how to call it, but when your skin I get thrilled and like teary-eyed by this kind of stories. It's emotional. And this connects to the never giving up value. And to the making friends value, I also feel that, when you're talking to someone that you feel this person is not authentic, or they're just trying to make contact with you, the value of Startup Grind is actually make friends, not contacts. When someone's talking to me and I feel they are not authentic, I feel my guts are, I don't want to talk to you. I feel like nausea. So I suggest you guys listen to your guts, to your skin, to your teeth, and your emotions usually tell about the values you have. So knowing your values can enable you to create a set of values that will be translated easily to other people, because your actions won't be forced. You'll be naturally doing that anyways. That gets you angry anyways, naturally. This is why we talk about emotions, because emotions are not forced. They happen. And if you are constantly controlling yourself to become something you are not, having a value that is not necessarily your inner value, you'll be wasting energy. Instead, if you're acting from the values that are already in your guts, you'll be driving more energy. So that's about understanding what your values are. Next part. Finally, when we have values that people align with, we have the feeling of belonging. And this is the feeling that so many people try to create. When people are aligned to your culture in a way that, first of all, let's bring to the beginning, we have a strong purpose that translates into strong values. That the why, so I was giving the example of startup grind. I didn't mention that because I was actually putting it more in the lines of what you guys are doing. But startup grind why is to help every entrepreneur in the world. So if you can go back maybe to that slide, is one more. There. So startup grind why is to help every entrepreneur in the world. How do they do it? With community building culture, education, and connections. And what do they do? Local communities, local events to bring people together, global event mentorship. How do I connect to that? I believe that better people just make a better world. And I believe that people need context to get better. Remember, I lived in a small town and I moved out of that town and I didn't know why. I go back to my life now and I see everything I'm doing, and I'm moving into a new venture now which is totally connected to it. It's related to your context highly impacts who you are. It's very hard to change your context, but it's very easy to surround yourself with the right people who level you up. If you're born in a context of scarcity where people say this is not possible, you are more likely not to believe in anything. But I believe that people, when they believe, and I totally agree with our friend that every human being has the potential of creation. We are one of the only animals who believe in God, and God is that entity that is creation purely. God created the world and everything. And our beliefs are related to creation, but why do people think that they are only consumers? So my belief goes very aligned to the belief of our friend here of people are wired to create, and to also what Kay was talking about before, that we are not we're not built to be producers, we can be to be consumers only. We are wired to be producers. So I want to generate more of these people. But by my own experience, I found that the best way to develop people is by developing their context. So that's why I build communities. I want to gather like-minded people, because after that it's easier for them to expand and influence each other. It's easier changing people who already have the drive and then helping them changing others than trying to convince someone who's skeptical to change. So this is why I build communities of like-minded people. So this is how what I do connects to my values and to the values I had since the moment I was a child. Next step. I told you already. So culture is what enables Startup Grind to be in 150 cities and growing. We had 130 events only in October, and 60,000 entrepreneurs are part of our community all over the world. How Startup Grind runs? So currently my position in Startup Grind is of community director for the eastern side of the world, meaning like from Africa to Japan. What I do is identify high potential people who want to build communities locally. I interview them, I select them, and I train them, but I train in the lines of saying, this is what you gotta do. It's very simple. What really makes them build communities is who they are, the values they have. So basically, Startup Grind is locally finding key people who wanna gather a community of entrepreneurs around them, and we grow this community all over the world. Derek, who's the founder of Startup Grind, is not pushing me every day. He's not overlooking me. We talk like once a week. And in a team meeting, one-to-one, we talk once a month. With all these directors of 150 cities, I talk once when I select them, then to train, and then I keep like 6 months without talking to them maybe. And they keep doing it. So how do you empower people to do things without them being forced to, or without you being there behind them forcing to do it? And this is about community building. People usually start from the event. They see Startup Grind is about events. They do monthly events and they interview Patrick Grove and Kylie and all these kind of cool people. What we actually do is build communities of people who leverage on each other and create the right context from where the next big entrepreneur will emerge. It's hard to be a great entrepreneur if your context is pushing you down. We are building in all over the world the context to push people up. So Derek, who's the founder of Startup Grind, he inspires this feeling of family with you. So he's such a guy who's so innerly focused on his why and values that he connects to you in the level of a father or brother that you don't want to disappoint. So it's not about the boss who's like, what's your KPIs? He never asked me about my KPIs. But I freaking don't want to disappoint him because we share the same vision, the same values. And even without he telling me to, I would behave the right way. Without trainings or guidelines, I started 2 chapters successfully in Buenos Aires and Kuala Lumpur. So it's not about the training, it's not about getting the logistics and telling them on how to get a speaker for the event or sponsorship package. It's about the why. The only thing I understood of Startup Grind in the beginning is that, okay, I need to gather people. To gather people, I need to get an excuse. To get an excuse, I need a speaker. So this is the thing we do. And finally, by controlling only a few variables, here in Kuala Lumpur, we have attracted the main people in this ecosystem. And I have been blessed and serendipitously met the most amazing people you will ever imagine in this ecosystem, from kick-ass investors to outstanding entrepreneurs who sold their companies for like 3 billion ringgit. No, they didn't sell the companies. Their companies are, well, whatever. Big, amazing people that I met serendipitously just by sharing value and purpose. And how do you apply this to your team and sales? So many times I get partners lining up to offer us sponsorship packages or lining up to offer us venue and things. Or now I'm going to my new venture and I'm talking to people about the ideas I have and what I need. I'm going to need funding. And people are approaching me to offer funding. Why? I mean, I'm Brazilian. I got here like 9 months ago. I don't know anyone, supposedly. Every time I talk to someone, I talk on the level of who you are. What are you doing? Why is it important for you? What are your values? Sometimes I officially disconnect from some people who I think that in this moment there is no reason why we walk together in the same path, especially skeptical people. So I'm in a moment where I am building around me a bubble of positiveness, optimism, and creation. So voluntarily, and it sounds like bad, but it's because I know that I cannot change the world if I don't build myself first. I'm surrounding myself with people who level me up. I'm surrounding myself with people who are better than me. I'm coming to events like this where I know people here are up to change something. And this is about my community building, the way I see it, because my value is growth, leveling up. What I'm bringing here to you is, what is your value? Oh, and so, back to the point I was saying, sales. The reason why these people approach me, offering me things I didn't ask for many times, or giving me opportunities I didn't even expect for, like the serendipity I mentioned, is because I'm purely doing what I freaking believe in. I'm just purely talking from my heart, not trying to sell them like, buy this body shaping machine, which is awesome. It's totally connected to who I am. Maybe the body shaping machine, if you're selling it and your values are really related to that, it's gonna resonate with the crowd as well. But what I mean is, like, when you're integrated with your why, sales and everything happens naturally. Okay, I'm closing 5 minutes. So I'm gonna open the floor for some questions, but next one. I'm gonna give you guys a recipe from Startup Grind on how community building. So we're gonna get out of the beautiful flowers and dandelions and seeds and core right now and go to the turkey. So this is the turkey. So I know it's a little bit like you weren't expecting a turkey to be here now, but what brings people together essentially might not be what really matters, but you still need it. So when you buy an Apple smartphone, why do you buy an Apple smartphone and not a cheapest version of a phone that allows you calling and messaging? It's because there is something behind that phone that you really connect to. So when people come to Startup Grind, why they come? Because Patrick Grove is speaking, because Kylie is speaking, because Cheryl Yeo is speaking, because whoever cool, Ben Silberman from Pinterest or whoever is speaking. But what really matters is who's around the table for the turkey. So I'm going to give an example. This is said by the guy who managed one of the biggest accelerators in Southeast Asia. So basically he says that accelerators, communities are like the Thanksgiving dinner. People get together to eat the turkey, but what really matters is who's around the table. Do you guys get it? Y Combinator, which is the best accelerator in the world, I heard from someone who managed the accelerator the other day. Y Combinator is about two things: dinners and demo day. It's an accelerator of companies. What is it about? Great people meeting better people and leveling each other up. Dave McClure, who runs 500 startups, said once that we had 25 companies in our accelerator program. 5 were awesome, and they would have been awesome anyways. 5 were miserable. 10 were okay. The 10 that were okay became freaking awesome because they were living with the ones that were awesome. I'm quoting him like the best I can, but it's basically about when you're living with amazing people, when you're living in community with shared ideas, you build yourself up, and what matters is that people are connecting. So what I'm going to share with you now, thanks Tab, and I'm going to leave you with this recipe because I cannot really explore it in an exercise, but I strongly suggest you start to think as I go here on what is the exercise that you can do for what you want. So go back to your why, go back to your values and think, if I wanted to gather people around a cause, what community would I build? If you were to create a community today, I was talking earlier to, what's your name again? Nazani. I was talking today with Nazani at lunch, and she was saying how she cares about the matter of the water, of water being wasted and other people not having water to drink. So why don't you build a community maybe around people who care about the same thing? Strongly starting from your why and values and starting to have people say, yeah, I agree with you, I connect with you, the same vision. People start gathering, and then you need to give them a turkey. So first ingredients, purpose. Strongly go back to your why until you're sure of why are you doing it. Second, values. Third, actions, meaning that your actions must be aligned to your values. And the turkey. How to do it? Get your purpose out and start talking about it with many people. Share your idea. Bullshit to say that, oh, they're going to steal my idea. If someone steals your idea and make it happen, congratulate them and join their team. Combine your actions and values and better until it's homogeneous. Make sure that your actions and values are really integrated and that you know yourself so much that you don't have to think before acting. You just act and it's from inside, and that drives energy for you instead of taking energy out of you. Tip, get a mentor to help if it's still lumpy. Mentors are really good to help you finding who you are and help you driving your vision the right way. Mentors are people who have been already at the place you want to get to. Very highly recommended. Second, choose the turkey. Something concrete people would come for. It can be a product. It can be even a job description. Ours is an interview and Q&A with the best entrepreneurs in town. So basically we say, Shiny Patrick Grove is coming to speak. You can ask him questions directly. What really matters for us is that people are making friends, helping each other, giving and never giving up. And people get it. But the reason why they come, it's something that's concrete. So in the case of the water thing, maybe you get like a party where you're going to gather every quarter and someone's going to sponsor the party. Or I'm giving random examples. Or if you have a company, the turkey can be like just the job description. The reason why I came to work in Mind Valley was the turkey. I came for the most awesome job in the world, but the reason why I actually came was because I believe in the values of Mind Valley. So you need a turkey. You need a product that you show and buy it, but the reason, if you don't have values and why behind it, is not going to be any different from the rest. And the secret spice, ton of passion, which comes from energy, which comes from how strong is your purpose, and cadence, becoming a point of reference. For building communities, if I need to give you guys the formula of Startup Grind, is basically the turkey every month. Your turkey should be every quarter or every week. If you're building communities online or offline, human beings need expectations. They need clear expectations. Community is about clarity. So whatever group of people you want to gather, make sure you have a newsletter or a constant communication so they don't forget you. They can't forget you. It's about communication and cadence. To close it, otherwise, because I'm actually way past from my time. Next slide. Once you did it, okay, you brought people together, so what? What happens after that? Finally, coming back to where we started. Core and movement. If you want to build communities, you are not the guy who wants to be the CEO of a company evaluating performance and controlling everything. You cannot control. People will take your brand, they will use it, they will transform it, it will evolve. Since the core is strong, let it go, let it flow, let people use it, let people change it. Since you understand they got the values, they got the why. Let people use your brand. This is how you make it viral. You cannot control that people will take the meme of the success baby and make different things of it, but still it's viral. So let people be empowered, and this is exactly what you aim to. When you see your brand is growing crazy, let it go crazy, since you know that people who are making it go crazy are strongly connected to your why and essence. So again, remember the seeds flying. Have your core strongly. The essence doesn't change, but it flies away and spreads all around the world, even if people don't want it to be there. Thank you very much.